This time around, I have a day off of work and I'm feeling motivated, so it's time for the Turbo Protege to get some attention. For those of you who are not familiar with this car, it's been on the channel a couple of times in the past, and this is the very first car I ever drove a million years ago, back when I was a 12 or 13-year-old boy. It was my dad's project for the longest time. He never really got it right. It just kind of sat in his driveway and he drove it occasionally. And a couple years ago, he offered it up to me for a decent price. This car was the taproot of my enthusiasm, and I didn't want to pass that up, let it fall into the wrong hands, and possibly get ruined or crashed or scrapped or anything like that. So I brought it here, put it up on jack stands, and I don't drive it either. Suffice it to say, this car is very important to me. It's the reason why I've got all of this Mazda crap on my walls, and why I've been such a big Mazda fan for pretty much my entire life. Eventually, when this thing's back on the ground, I'm gonna do a nice juicy walk around video and show you all the fancy stuff that's in here, but just so people don't entirely... Where's the latch? Just so people... My god! I wasn't lying. She got a Turbski, boys! If you don't want to wait for that video and you want to know a little bit more about this car right now, there's a video right up here in the corner that pretty much breaks down the gist of it. And I'm sure you're wondering, what is keeping this car off the road? It looks pretty intact, right? One engine mount is the biggest one, anyway. I was in the middle of doing a brake job and new lower control arms, which, of course, you didn't see on the channel because I wasn't making videos at the time, but this car does have fresh lower control arms, fresh brakes at all four corners that still need to be bled, though. I bled the clutch line. I had to take that engine mount off to get to it because it's a 90s car and they are horribly packaged. Like, this car has a bad alternator. It needs to be replaced. It's way the hell back there, sandwiched up against the frame rail. I have replaced an alternator on one of these cars before because I used to have another one. My god, engineers in the 90s especially hated mechanics. If I get to the point of wanting to fire up the car today, I do have the jumper box, just in case we get through everything else. I'm already sweating, so it's time for this garage glow-up to go into full effect. Finally got air conditioning in the Mazda cave. Got my motivation, so there's that. Gotta reinstall that filled engine mount, tighten turbo inlet, bleed brakes, charge battery, fire engine, and this isn't gonna happen today, but car doesn't have insurance or an updated registration, so eventually if I'm gonna get this car going again and I want to drive it, I'm gonna have to get those taken care of. First things first, cracking open a nice Sandy Feet from Walking Tree Brewery. Yes. Let there be light! You can see how long it's been since I've done this. The bracket is covered in cobwebs. So that bracket there runs from the side of the bell housing down to this engine mount, which is bolted to a cross member, which supports the whole powertrain. I gotta remove the existing engine mount, of course, to install the filled one. That's just a couple bolts down here. It really couldn't be simpler. I'm just lazy. Yeah, it mounts a little bit different, but that's okay. With these older cars, you always gotta loosen everything and then bring it in tight. I'm actually going to come in from the top on this one because it's just so tight in there. Like, it's sandwiched right down next to the clutch slave cylinder. That's actually ultimately why I had this all apart. I remember, it's been so long. I had this all apart because I went to take it for a drive one day back when it was, like, usable but still kind of shit. And backing out of the garage, the clutch hydraulics burst, so I replaced the slave cylinder, but it's behind that bracket I just put on. What a pain in the ass. I got the clutch bled, gave up on it, and it's been sitting ever since. Torque specs be damned. Okay, turbo inlet. Going back in. Excellent. You know what? Yeah. I can't believe it took me this long to do these couple of simple things. Now I'm gonna bleed those brakes. Maybe we might fire this thing today after all. Added bonus, the engine now sits in the bay kind of straight. Before, it was really crooked. As you saw before, I already replaced one of these. I have not done the transmission mount or the rear mount yet, just because those are a lot more, and I don't want to pull the battery and stuff. And I actually already replaced that rear mount once, so it's actually kind of fresh. I'll keep that one soft compared to these other ones. Eventually I'll throw that one on there. No need for a video, but yeah. Only the best, for some reason. We're going to be using my usual one-man, the Chris Fix bottle method. When I worked on this car last, I of course did the brakes, but I also installed these stainless steel lines, so I figure there's got to be not very much pressure in this system. For reference, I'm using some Hawk HPS pads. I keep saying over and over, I'm never going to buy Hawks again, but they came with the car, so might as well. Pedals firm. Clear fluid was coming out of all the lines. So you know what? I am going to plug in that battery, get the tender going, charge it up, try and get this thing fired today. Don't need this anymore. Oh, God, this thing is turning into a barn find. I need to clean this. Alright, here goes nothing. Let the fuel pump run for a second. Come on, baby. Oh, she's been sitting for a minute. Those lifters are clacking. Well, brake pedal still sucks. Typical BP noise. Once it warms up, it'll stop clickety-clacking. It's alive! Feels good to hear this baddie and see it run again. The car runs, and really it drives. Like, it was just those couple of things. I still need to work on the brakes. Like, that's been a thing with this car since I got it. The people who did all the work on this car for my dad, they had the brake booster and like just the whole brake system. It didn't have a check valve in it, so it was receiving 14 pounds of boost all the time, because no matter what I do, the pedal is soft and barely responsive. That's something I'm going to work on, and probably something I'll solve here in a future video. Anyway, you all have seen what you need to see today. The car lives, at least a little bit. It got a little taste of life today. I still need to register it and get insurance and get those brakes sorted out, but I think here pretty soon I'm gonna have to roll this garage find out of here and give it a bath, because sitting here, really, it's gross. Since I bought the car, actually, it was clean when I got it. I've never washed it, so it's about time this thing got a little bit of TLC. But for now, I think that's it for this one. Just a little taste of the blue car. Get down in the comments. Let me know if you want to see more of this. I know the answer is going to be yes, at least from some of you. Everyone was, when are you going to turbocharge your 2? And this car is a living example of why you don't do that, especially with your only car, because this car didn't come turbo from the factory. It's heavily modified, and it's an unreliable piece of crap. Let me know you want to see more of this. There's, of course, going to be more of the 30 coming here soon. For this one, thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, enjoying, participating in the channel, and all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. You never know how you're going to screw up in this world, but knowing how to fix it, that's key.